Welcome back to JDM Legends, presented by Turn 14 Distribution, where today we're getting to work on the black Supra, starting with the paint. If you watched our deep dive on this car, then you'll know that the paint is in pretty rough shape. So we're really curious to get down to washing and cutting and polishing it to see what we've got with underneath all these watermarks. We know this rear quarter is in pretty rough shape. But again, with a cut and polish, maybe some of that will come back to life. We've got tape on the paint. We've got a lot to do here as far as cleaning it up goes. But before we can wash this car, we actually do something about this window, because there is no window in the hole here. We have it in the trunk, but we're not sure how we're gonna mount it in there because we're missing the whole regulator mechanism. So I don't know, is it back to duct tape here, PT? What are we gonna do?
I'm thinking we just put the glass in and like get some wood or something. So yeah, maybe let's try that.
All right.
I guess that turned out to be pretty simple. We just stuffed a bunch of wood, as you can see, into here to hold this glass up. What I realized though is we don't actually have the regulator and motor that holds this window in place, which moves it up and down, which is a huge bummer. I'm gonna have to source that. I think Toyota may still sell it new. I was looking online. It seems like it's not in stock. Some places say it is, but anyways, if anyone's got one of these used, by all means hit me up. We also need to replace this plastic. If you guys have any leads or ideas where to get this type of plastic, I'm sure it's not just like regular old plastic. Again, post in the comments, let us know. So now I guess the million-dollar question is whether I can close this door without this all collapsing here. This is always very nerve-wracking, because if this glass goes flying down, well, you guys know what happens. It breaks, but you know what?
You did stuff a bunch of bubble wrap in there, so
yeah,
I think it should be
okay. Look at that, man. That's kind of perfect. It's sealed up.
Yeah.
We're good to go. Aside from like the nastiness of all the tape on here. So I think that's what we need to do first is just, I guess, wash this thing
and then like take all the glue off of it first.
Yeah. I've come in pretty aggressively here with my Goo Gone, which is like an adhesive removal liquid, and it seems to have done a pretty good job getting rid of the glue. Yeah, the duct tape up here. You can see. Whoa, dude, what is this? Oh my God. It's like an old sticker here. I see speed. LIG? Whoa, this is like next level. It's like unearthing something.
That's so weird.
That is crazy. Holy smokes. It's gotta be like an old sticker, but what? It's just like running really low down here.
It's a weird spot for a sticker.
Oh my God, that's wild. I did not think we'd find something like that, or maybe, is that possible? Like there was a transfer of something was leaning on here that transferred this over onto here, but
I don't know. I would have thought maybe like those JDM tinted,
yeah, like
window
the visors,
but a sticker there is weird.
That is next level weird. And again, it certainly says speed here. It had something prior I can't make out, and then it says LIG, maybe light, like speed light. I don't know. Weird.
Gave the car a quick wash and a dry using our new Big Boy Blower Pro. I do love this machine. This was sent over to us by the guys at Esoteric Detailing, who are the North American distributor for Big Boy. Not the hip hop artist from Outkast, but this Australian brand that makes these really nice car dryers. And this is not like a glorified leaf blower. You could think of, I think it's a better analogy might be like a hair dryer, because it actually warms and dries the air. So not only am I blowing the water off, although it doesn't really fall off this car very well because this car is in such a rough shape, but it's also drying it with heat, which I think is really amazing. It's got 4 speeds, so you've got a half and a full speed on both of the motors. You've got 4 motors total. Different fittings that go on the end here. And really the beauty of this, I think, is once you ceramic coat a car, you can blow the water off it so efficiently with this, rather than having to use towels, and you've got wet, dirty towels to deal with. And you're rubbing something on the paint, where with this, you're not rubbing anything on the paint, so you're much less likely to be marring it in any way. So thank you very much, Esoteric Detailing. They actually have a video on their YouTube channel about this unit. So if you want more information, I would say jump over onto their YouTube channel and give them a subscribe. We'll put a link up in the top right corner there for you, and there'll be a link in the description as well to the product. Really nice product. And as you saw, Pete was also using this squeegee, I guess you would call it. I believe
Yes.
this is a Sonax squeegee.
Yes.
And it's also really good at getting
It did work
water
really
off
well. Yes.
I think the only downside is you are putting something in direct contact with the paint. On this car, we didn't mind because it's going to get cut and polished anyway, but if you would like just freshly cut and polish your car, I'm not sure I'd want to be dragging this along it. I think I'd rather go with the blower and a nice soft microfiber towel, but if your car needs a cut and polish anyway, then get the water off there quick.
Or if you're like me, you just want a quick wash and a quick dry, then that thing actually works really well.
Yeah, neat little tool too. So now that we see it kind of clean, but in its raw, unpolished state, it is pretty rough, guys. There is some mega swirl marks in it, lots of scratches, lots of paint chips on the hood. Of course, this rear quarter, as we've shown you a million times before, is in really bad shape. To me, this car is a prime candidate either for a full respray or vinyl wrapping. And I think for us, vinyl wrapping is gonna make a lot more sense because we're gonna sell this car. So we kind of want to give the car to somebody looking really good, but with the option of changing the color. So they could pull off the vinyl and paint it any color they want. They can change up the vinyl, or if they like the color we chose, then great, just leave it and roll with it.
And the other big thing to factor in here is time for us, right? Like
true.
if we need to take this to Luke or whoever to get painted, it's gonna be at least, let's say at least 3 weeks. Average guys is like 2 months, by the time you get this stuff done, for the average shop, it's just so much time, where a wrap is like what? 2-3 days max.
Yeah, I think we're going to find out with this car. We've been chatting with our friends at C17 Media out of the Toronto area who do amazing vinyl work. They've printed vinyl for us before, like on our Miata, and they do full body wraps. So I think we're going to enlist them to do the wrap on this the further we get into it. It just seems like that's the way to go. So let's give this thing a cut and polish and really see what we've got with what we've got to work with deep down underneath all this messy clear coat on top. Well, we have finished this side of the car and it is looking a lot glossier, isn't it, Pete? It's got some shine back into the paint, and this front fender in particular I think cleaned up quite well. The door looks pretty good too. The rear quarter, still not great in that area where we showed you where the clear really looks to be failing quite badly, but we've started off with Sonax's Profiline X-Cut 0505, so that is a 5 out of 6 cut and a 5 out of 6 gloss. And this is typically what we use for a one-stage cut and polish. We just find it works well for the cars that we're dealing with here up in Canada. And really this car would need a much more aggressive cut to get a lot of the perfections out of it, because if you look closely, yes, it looks glossy, but as soon as you get up close, you can still see there's a ton of imperfections in this paint. I don't know where this car was stored or what happened to it, but the paint is just trash.
Yeah, it just seems like it would need a proper block sand, like a 3000 sand, and then to try to bring this back. But in all honesty, like you said, this car I just don't think was well taken care of despite its low mileage. It just sat somewhere. It almost feels like there's a lot of like tree sap.
Yes,
that's
definitely.
just like imperfections that have been embedded in the paint that really, without a proper paint job, it's not going to clear up. Like from here, it looks decent. It's certainly a 20-footer at this point.
It is.
And on YouTube, it's going to look really nice because it's polished, but anybody that would come up to this car would be like, whoa, what just happened?
And to give you an idea of like how bad the paint is, look how much color is transferring from a pad. And this is just like one pass. And this I've cleaned already.
Yeah.
So with, like, when we finish a pass, this thing is just black. I don't know, I'm kind of puzzled by it, but it just confirms, I think, in our mind that this car is a perfect candidate for a vinyl wrap or a complete respray. But I think for us, vinyl wrap it, on to the next guy who can then make a choice about whether he wants to paint it or stick with the wrap that we choose. So what about the taillights, PT? Those look like they cleaned up really good, didn't they?
Yeah, I did see like the taillights cleaned up well. I'm gonna start working on those headlights. They are nasty, but I'm hoping I can try to like work my magic with those.
Okay, and I'll just keep smashing away at the other side of the car here.
I'd say the transformation is pretty remarkable considering what we started with, which is like an incredibly yellow hazy headlight. I used Sonax's headlight restoration kit on here, and the outside of the lens looks very, very nice. However, we do have hazing on the inside. I don't know, maybe it's not hazing, maybe it's dirt, but there is just like a slight fog that when I look at this lens, I can see on the inside that doesn't give it that clarity that you would want. So I'm unfortunately at a loss here. I think the only way to clean that would be to take this lens off, wipe it, and then put this whole thing back together, which would clean it up. So that still is an option. I think for now, I'm just gonna do the other side just to get all the haze off the front, and then we can kind of like revisit this in the future. If you guys have any comments or tips on how to do this, how to like get that haze out of the inside without actually taking this lens apart, please do post in the comments.
DP, this thing from here looks like $1 million. Like a Supra of its former glory. What it probably looked like.
Status,
yeah.
Right? Yeah, it is looking a lot better. It feels good to stand back and take it in and appreciate just what a difference a cut and polish can make. And obviously the headlights look way better, but like you were saying, there is still some cloudiness in there. Like as you get closer to this car, you see the flaws, and man, the hood is trash. The roof is not great. The trunk is not great. Any of the upper surfaces, this car must have sat outside for years under like a sappy tree or something. I've never seen paint like this before.
I don't know. It's kind of like a mystery, right? I'd love to talk to the previous owner about this car.
Yeah, this car probably has a good story to tell, but I mean, I do certainly feel a lot better about the way it's looking now, but man, these wheels, PT,
yeah,
I can't take it anymore. The big sidewalls, they're just terrible. So let's get these things off there and see what we can find in the stash to bolt up. If you watched the video where we had this car in the lift initially, we could not get the wheels off and show you the condition of the brakes because it's got these horrible tuner nuts on here. And even the wheel looks like it's designed specifically for tuner nuts because it's got a tiny little opening. So Pete pulled this Gorilla key, if you want to call it that, specialized socket out of his stash, because ironically you run these style of nuts on your Lexus, your CT200H.
I do, yeah. Which begs the question, if there's supposed to be like security locks and anybody with the same lug nut there can come along here, or sorry, socket
like
can come along and
socket.
just like take your wheels off. I don't know how secure they are, right? Like,
well, a regular socket won't fit in there, but if you have this thing, you're good to go. And yeah, I'm kind of astonished that they don't make them in like 20 different styles at least to make it a little harder to crack the code. But
just...
anyway, let's get this junk off here and we'll show you what we pulled out of the stash. The worst invention in tuner car history, everyone. Get these tuner nuts out of my life.
I mean, they're not too bad. They don't look bad, DP.
They're pure garbage.
I don't mind them.
They're always made of like low grade metal too. They fail at the racetrack. You gotta have this stupid socket. I hate everything about this, everyone. And if you do too, let me know in the comments. All right, the moment of truth. Let's get this junk off here and look at the condition of these tires. Hot garbage from 2007. Goodyear Eagle RSA all-season tires on an 880 Supra. I hate everything about that too.
Sacrilege.
That's even worse than tuner nuts. We can see these are an 18x8 ET20. Not exactly what I would call classic Supra fitment either. So into the bin with ya. Looking at the condition of the brakes, and man, this is one rusty rotor. It just looks like this car sat for a long time, and admittedly it's sat here for a while, but there's a bit of a lip on there, so I mean, they've seen some use, but I think they look worse than they are because they're so rusty looking. But everything else in here looks pretty good. Talk about a style upgrade right out of PT stash. These came off your Evo 8, right?
Yes.
And
DP, before we go any further, I kind of want to fit them on the GTR as well.
I know. Okay, this is the classic like Mines GTR look, isn't it? This is the same wheel they always have.
Yeah, I think it's similar, yeah.
And this offset's probably better on the GTR than it is on this car too. But anyway, I think it'll be cool to see them on here. Just see this car on anything that aren't those horrible old RTX wheels. For those of you curious, this is an 18x9 plus 20 offset, so still not super fitment, but it should fit on here reasonably well and not look like hot garbage. So let's bolt them on and see how they look. We even dug these sweet Dorman lug nuts out of the stash with this titanium style finish on them in a M12 by 1.5, which I think is the right size for this car. All the Toyotas I've worked on seem to be 1.5, so.
So you weren't about to reuse those, huh? You hate them that much, the Gorilla lugs? Yeah.
We could put them on there, but when you've got this versus that hot garbage.
Fair enough.
No, let's just do the good stuff here. And maybe these will live on this car forever. Who knows, PT? Who knows? That is certainly a huge upgrade, but the offset is a little goofy in the front. It's poking out a bit. In the back, it's quite good. And man, what is with the wheel well gap here? It looks goofy. We bounced the car and rolled the car trying to get it to settle, but it's weird how it sits higher in the front than the rear for some reason.
Got that reverse rake going on.
It's like it's doing a squat to go drag racing already, but...
Like a squat truck.
Yeah, that North Carolina style. I do love these wheels though, man. LMs look good on everything, and if the ride height was better, like just Photoshop in your mind, everyone, with this, you know, chopped down properly. Look back, you can see they look good, and they seem a little small somehow though, don't they, Pete? Like this car could almost run on 19s, I think.
They do, and this is a square setup. The tires are a 245, 40, 18, so I think they might be a tad little, a small profile, so.
Yeah, there's something going on there.
But it isn't lowered.
No, so as a matter of fact, everyone, the thumbnail for this episode may have been photoshopped by Pete to correct some of these things and to draw you in to watch this episode, which we're now calling over because it's the end of the day and I'm tired. I don't know about you guys, but if you've ever cut and polished a car, it is a lot of work and it is exhausting. So I'm just done, tapped out for the day, but in the next episode, you will see us lower this and put on another set of wheels that might be the forever wheels on these cars. We'll let you guys decide when we put them on there. All right, that is really a wrap on this one, everyone. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much Turn 14 Distribution for helping make all of our JDM Legends dreams come true.
Oh, she's